started, why don't you kick us off with an opener?
Yeah. I was telling Tad when I was walking in, I said, that there's so much that's been done, from a league standpoint, from a NFLPA standpoint, really to get us to where we are. And you think about a couple months ago, the anxiety of not knowing what was going to happen or occur. Um, to be here in week one, getting ourselves ready to go and feeling, obviously confident that we'll be able to play. It's really, really an amazing feat. And I think that there are still things that, we're all working through, um, from a testing protocol standpoint, which we'll obviously test during the week, continue to do that. Then, obviously work out, through the days off what we want to do. But there's a high confidence level in everyone right now. I don't know if I would have been able to say that early in the year before training camp started, but I think it's built up, and it's a credit to. There's just a lot of people to give credit to, that are behind the scenes that don't really get it, that have put us, given us this opportunity where we can go out there and play.
All right, thank you, Coach. We're going to open up with Mia O'Brien and then go to Gary Smits.
Hey, Doug, kind of building off of that a little bit, if you want to just expand upon, if someone told you that 3 months ago, you guys would be starting on time, no issues, looks like everything's okay, would you have said, yeah, I believe that?
Well, I mean, we've got some really good people, doctors for both the league and doctors from the PA. And I don't know if it was a matter of, do you believe it? But it was a matter of, hey, faith in these people that they know what they're doing and they're going to set up the right protocols to make everyone comfortable. I would say I had an anxiety level, of, not knowing and trying to learn how to operate a football team. And as a player, they're learning how to operate. Trainers, I mean, everyone in the organization and around the league is learning how to operate, with these protocols. So, but I do see a comfort level now with really just one last thing, and that's you look at game day. I don't think that seems to be an issue. I just think the only thing we haven't done right now is just travel. So there's probably a little bit of anxiety to that, just because not because you're not sure the protocols don't work, but more of we haven't done that before. But I think you're right. I think a couple months ago there was a lot of talk and what's going to happen, and from both players, coaches, league, everyone, fans, to a point where we are now, where we feel very confident.
And I'm curious, kind of a two-parter. First and foremost, you walk into the building today, the Monday of game week. Does it feel like the first Monday of the first game week last year? And additionally, with that in mind, I'm not sure if you saw the ESPN commercial that Gardner was a part of with the "It's all coming back to me now." I was just curious if you had seen that and what your take on it was.
Well, no, I haven't seen it. So I'm gonna, as soon as we get off this call, I'm gonna have to have, a conversation with my weird science brother that he again hasn't showed me it or told me or prepped me on this call for that. So I haven't seen that. My feelings, it is a little bit different. I'm not gonna say it, and a little bit different meaning that, it's here we are without the same type of buildup. The preseason had changed. A lot of those things have changed. So, we're working now. I think, as it goes, I think it'll start building up and building up. Obviously to the week, and that's how we want to do it with our players. We don't want a lot of things to all of a sudden change, because it's game week. The only thing that really changed for us today, and I thought we did an excellent job, was, we went to scout teams, and having 16 players, on the practice squad, one, they have to be involved with the game plan, so every one of them is, has the ability to come up. Obviously everyone can come up at least twice during the year and be ready in case something happens. So I think you have some good flexibility there. And then just the flow of practice with 16 bodies being able to do that it was great. I mean, it's something that, like I said, I think there are going to be a lot of things that come out of these protocols and things that we've done that we're going to be able to look back on, not just the Jaguars, but really just the NFL and the NFLPA, and say, hey, you know what? This stuff really worked well. We should continue this. Despite where we may be from a pandemic standpoint, meaning that it's gone away at some time.
Thanks, Mia. I appreciate you getting me in trouble. Let's go to Gary and then Hayes.
Yeah, Doug, what are you going to do differently against Phillip Rivers to avoid, a game like last year? Why does he seem? I know you can only speak to the times you've been here, but why does he seem to have this team's number?
Well, I just think it's a great challenge. I think he's always, been able to do a heck of a job versus stuff. I have a lot of respect for him. He's done that to a lot of football teams, and coming in here and not seeing the film and not seeing what they're doing schematically or anything of that nature. It's tough. You take a quarterback, you're really not going to show him a lot of things that he probably hasn't seen before. So, for us, it's just a matter of how do we defend them, and then if we're trying to stop him, they've got a great offensive line and a great running game. So, they create challenges. They got really good skill on the outside. They've got a plethora of great running backs, a good offensive line. Defensively, they're fast. They do a nice job. So there's going to be a lot of challenges, and not having seen your team play a game yet, is something else that you're excited about. But I'm excited to see what we can do. I think we're going against a team that's picked to win the division or go far or surprise a lot of people. There's a lot of and they've earned that. They have a good roster. They've got good players, and I have a ton of respect for Phillip. So he always makes it difficult. He's always going to find the matchups and find the spots, and you just got to be able to defend it. I mean, he's a tough player to defend.
Okay,
Yep. You're welcome.
Thank you, Gary. Let's go Hayes and then Gene.
Hey, Doug, what excites you most about this 53-man roster that you guys have?
I just like the communication, what I'm saying, with the players. I think when people on the outside are thinking, what does that mean? The talk for the players, the rallying for the players, the team first attitude that you have. I think that, that's exciting because, you feel that there's some years you go in and you're like, okay, if we hit adversity, which way are we going to go? And you really don't know until you hit it. But this team, I feel very confident in handling any type of adversity, and we'll get adversity not just on the field, but off the field. Everything, that's going on, and it'll be throughout the year. But I feel confident in this football team being able to handle anything that's thrown at them.
What was the hardest decision in your mind in terms of putting the 53 together?
Well, I mean, it's always tough because, I look at it as, we have a bunch of guys that have performed well in camp. There's some guys that, haven't performed as well in the past, and you got to make decisions of what you see right now and not, kind of, project. And, you're trying to say to yourself, hey, these guys look like, they're going to put us in the best position to win. These guys have had the best camps. These guys have been available. So a lot of things go into play there. I think it's always tough making decisions when, everyone's giving it their all. And sometimes there are some skill sets of those players that maybe don't fit what you want to do, offensively, defensively, or special team wise. And because you have so many on the one side. So it's kind of tough of making sure that you have enough skill set. And then if someone has a good skill set, but you feel like there's two or three others that may be better, then letting those players go becomes difficult because you do believe that they can play.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Hayes. Let's go Gene and then Mark Long.
Hey, Doug, you expressed concerns during training camp about the depth particularly on the interior defensive line. When you look at the first two opponents in particular in Indianapolis and Tennessee, how concerning is your ability in your mind of stopping the run? And do you see any other opponents on your schedule that place as much emphasis on the run as the first two?
Well, I think during the year we're going to see a lot of good offensive lines. I think when you go through the schedule, we're gonna have to play a bunch of them, and I think that the first two, Gene, like you said, are big, physical, tough, great challenges for us. I think, going into it, we feel very good, about the guys that we have. We think we understand that it's going to be a great challenge, and I think it's going to be a great test. I think we'll know, a whole lot, early on, where we are defensive line wise after our first, after our first game, and get those guys out there. Right now we believe in them. We feel comfortable. They've worked their butts off. They understand that we're playing a great offensive line in week one, and that's what we're concentrating on. So I'd rather keep my focus on the, how do we go against and how do we match up versus the Colts, which we've got a lot of tough matchups. They've got a lot of good players on that offensive line.
As a follow-up, what's the prognosis on Taven Bryan and how any anticipation about getting him back?
Yeah, I mean, today we went on the field and we've been real cautious with him, and he's been, 100% over the weekend, and we wanted to kind of bring him back a little bit today, and he looked good, and he wound up practicing. So that's where he is.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thanks, Shane. Let's go Mark Long and then over to John Reed.
Hey, Doug, I'm just curious how far Rock Armstead is, given, that he's between the groin and the illness and now COVID list twice. Just how much is this guy missing? How far behind is he?
Yeah, I think it'll be a while. I think it's going to be a while. I can't put a real timetable on it, but it's going to be. He'll be out for a while.
Is he a candidate for IR then?
He's already on IR.
On the reserve list, Mark, so he does not count against the active roster.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Let's go over to John Reed and then D-Rock.
Yeah, Coach, just a follow-up to what his question was on your running back room. There was some reports that Devontae Freeman was in visiting there this Sunday. Just overall, do you feel that you might need to add a little bit more experience at that position? And we heard, what you've said before, that you're probably going to use a committee of running backs, shuffling guys in and out. But what do you feel overall right now about your young running back room?
Yeah, I think, and Dave and I had a lot of discussions on this. I really like this room. I think this room, like I said before, I'll keep talking about their skill set, and what we can do and how we can use them. We felt that, at the time we really didn't know where Rock was, what I'm saying? And like I said before, and to Mark's question that, we feel it'll be a while. So, we brought Devontae in, we had good talks with him, and we'll see where it goes. And, but make no mistake about it, the three guys we have are the three top guys in camp, and I'm excited to get these guys out there and watch them go. I mean, Chris is healthy for the first time. Zigbo is really earns a spot. I mean, from what he's done, and James Robinson, a guy that not many people know, has really had a good camp. So, those guys will be ready to go, and like I said before, they all have different skill sets, and we've got to play to their skill set when they're in the game.
Just a quick follow-up. When will you name captains? Have you named your captains yet, or that's something coming up?
John, what we did is this morning we took a vote on it. You know what I'm saying? So the team voted. I have that. I tallied it. That's done with myself and Marcus Pollard and Tyler Wolf. So we go there and we collect them. And I haven't told the team yet. I'm going to tell the team at 4:00, and I believe Tad will let that out right afterwards once I tell the team. So we'll have that.
Coach tallies it on an abacus. All right, 3 final questions here. Let's go D-Rock, Cassidy, and then we'll finish with John Shipley.
A lot of snide remarks today.
You can't let him get away with that. You got. I mean, that's
you guys can't let him get away with that. Not me. He's my boss. It's the media. He's above me. He's my boss.
A lot of rookies in that back end of the secondary. Was there any hesitation when you look back and realize we were really, really young back there, wanting more veterans back there, or no?
Yeah, I think initially we did. Mike, we had Rashawn Melvin, and he opted out. And then we were trying to bring in some veteran type presence back there. So yeah, I'd say initially going into camp we did, but the young guys have done well, and it's, as coaches, it's just a lot of anxiety. It's like they do well in practice, and then what I have to do is I kept reminding the coaches is that, okay, well, if they're doing well in practice, this thing's going to come over, and we got to see what happens when the lights come on. It should come over, or we want it to come over, on Sunday. Then the other side is sometimes you get guys that don't practice that well, but in the past they've shown they can do it, and they're like, oh, when we just get to the game, we can do it. Well, I've seen problems with both. So to answer your question, yes, we were looking for a little bit more veteran presence back there. I feel good that we have it with, DJ Hayden, Jared Wilson, Josh Jones brings some presence back there. So really when you look at it, those are really the three guys that probably have the most experience back there. And their leadership is, they've done a great job. They really have. So would I like to have some more? Absolutely. I would, but I'm happy with the guys that we have.
The league dropped a new rule, or dropped, I guess, a regulation the other day about guys not being able to be in the building on Monday, unless they're just going to get tests and then get out of there. Does that kind of mess up some of the stuff that you were planning for Mondays this season, or no?
I think in this time, I think that going into this season, mentally for me, I said that there is going to be a lot of change, and there'll be changes going. So, when they're for all the right reasons and it's for health reasons, and obviously, it's not an issue. I as a player, when I played, we were off on Monday. So at least in my mind, I know, what we want to do and how we want to do things. So that's not an issue. I think, the issue was to make sure that we as coaches can get tested and get in the building, you know what I'm saying? So this way we can game plan, trainers, everyone that's in that tier, that game day tier, that if they need to come in here and unpack the equipment and unpack the training room equipment, have the trainers available, to make sure that, there's a protocol set in place, which the league has come out and said there is. So, and I don't see it as an issue at all. No.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, D-Rock. Let's finish up with Cassidy and then John Shipley.
Hey, Coach. Not having had the preseason, without giving away your game plan, how much more cognizant are you of maybe scripting those first few drives to let guys shake off the rust?
Are you saying how confident about scripting the first?
Yeah, how cognizant or how much different might you script the first few drives, just knowing that it's been a while since there's been like full-on live tackling? Let them shake the rust off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, we have some, drive starters, plays we want to go into the game with, and situationally you got to be able to change. I don't think the way we're going to go about it is really going to change, how we do things. I think we're kind of, not that we're set in our ways, it's just that it's something that, we've done, we believe in, we've seen success with it. So, I think we'll have some things scripted, and then, but like I say before, I mean, depending on, where the ball is, you can get off that script quickly.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Cassidy. Let's finish up with John Shipley.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Can you just talk about the type of camp that Josh Jones had and what he did to really show you guys that he's deserving of, having a role on the defense?
Yeah, I think that, early on, a lot of stuff starts for these players in, really after the season. You don't have a lot of contact with them, but, when they contact you and they're like, hey, listen, hey, can I get this? Can I get that? This is what I'm planning to do. We've talked a lot about that, about Josh Allen, about where he was mentally afterwards and how he wanted to do more. And then Josh was a guy that, he was on our team and really didn't know a lot about him. And then after the season, he was kind of in that same role that Josh had, Josh Allen, meaning, hey, let me get this stuff. Let me look at it. Let's go. I've had a lot of talks with Josh Jones, over the past, couple of weeks, in training camp, because, when we're looking to get down to numbers early on, when we're going from 90 to 80, I really didn't know, where a lot of these players were. And, Josh just stood out right off the bat, so all of a sudden, you're coming in there and you're not looking to move the chart, as far as the depth chart or getting guys reps. And, he came back with, knowledge and enthusiasm and being in the right position and making plays from the first day he walked into the building. So, I didn't want to really mess up the depth chart too much, early on, but I was like, shoot, we got to see more. We got to see more. We got to give this guy an opportunity. And I think every time we had given him an opportunity, he showed up big. I mean, he really did, and he took advantage of it. And a lot of times players that may bounce around a little bit or something, and I don't want to put words in Josh's mouth, but sometimes you're like, hey, this is it. This is the last opportunity for me, and I think that it might have played into his mindset, after the season last year, and he did it. He did everything he could to put himself in the position he is, and make no mistake about it, it's beneficial for us when a guy shows up and plays the way he does. I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, communicates extremely well, very knowledgeable. He has all the things that you're looking for. So we're expecting him to play at a high level like he's been practicing.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep. You're welcome.
All right, thank you guys. Shortly after 4:00 tonight, we'll send out the update on the captains for this season. Wednesday at 9 a.m., we'll be back with Coach Marrone. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let us know.